Good evening. Myself, Dr. Yashasri Bhairav Kulkarni. I am Director and Ayurved Consultant at Sri Siddhivinayak Ayurved Panchakarma Center, Aurangabad, Maharashtra, in India. I thankful to Dr. Gaurang Joshi sir, Atharva Multi Speciality Hospital, Rajkot. Thank you, Dr. Ramdev Pandit sir, and also I am thankful to Dr. Bhairav Kulkarni sir, Director of Sri Siddhivinayak Ayurved Panchakarma Center. I have invited here as a speaker in the Narayani 2020 webinar series organized by Indo-Nepal Corporation campaigning on the occasion of Navratri festival, which is dedicated to women in Ayurveda field, or the women who have dedicated their lives in the Ayurveda. So thank you once again to giving me this opportunity to share my views on my topic. So my topic is lifestyle disorders and scope of Ayurveda. Before 4 to 5 decades, the lifestyle was but normal and less stressful. So might have been that people who had suffered less than today's era. I think it can be said as a defective lifestyle disorder. So for lifestyle, we can say that in sociology, the lifestyle is the term, that is the way in which person lives, or the lifestyle is a characteristic bundle of behaviors. Also, lifestyle reflects the individual's attitude, values, or its worldview. So, in present era, overstress and bad food habits or bad lifestyle reduces individual's happiness and predispose to many diseases. Example, dyslipidemia, obesity, or diabetes mellitus, hypertension, and other clinical conditions such as infertility or cardiovascular diseases, etc. So we all know, or we can say, due to blind following of the Western culture, or the culture which is not our, or the culture which is not suitable for our geographical or the atmospheric conditions, we are following blindly, and so our lifestyle get disturbed and we are suffering from lifestyle disorders. For example, we can say having cold food like ice creams or cold shakes in season of winter. Actually, in winter it is so cold outside, so we should have to take warm food, but we are now just taking just for fun or just for experiencing thrilling, we are taking cold food in winter also. This is one example. This can be the example of the lifestyle disorder or defective lifestyle. Also, in today's era, everyone is under very much stress, and also everyone is in hurry and wants the fast outcome. So in hurry, there is always there is a worry. So that's why these will cause the worry, or this will cause the lifestyle disorder diseases. Lifestyle diseases are result of inappropriate relationship of people and their environment, which I have explained before, that environment, our geographical condition, this may be disturbed or this may be inappropriate in our behavioral. So now this is our responsibility, that we are Ayurvedacharyas or we are lifestyle consultant. We should be lifestyle daily routine lifestyle consultant, and we should teach them or we should tell them what our Shastra or what the science, Ayurveda science tells us. So regarding Ayurveda, Ayurveda has mainly two objects, that is swasthasya swasthya rakshanam, aturasya vyadhi parimokshah. That is, it is the responsible, it is the object which take care of healthy persons and also the diseased person. Ayurveda is a system for complete well-being of an individual. Ayurveda has worldwide now, so everyone knows the importance of Ayurveda. So we have to propagate the Ayurveda in reference to the lifestyle management or good lifestyle habits. For this, in Ayurveda classical text, Dinacharya, Rutucharya, Sadvritta Palan, all these things are explained by our Acharyas. Just we have to focus them and tell them all the people to follow. Now regarding the Ayurveda, we can think by both ways, by preventive ways, by curative ways. For preventive aspect in the Ayurveda, we should think of, which I have told before, Dinacharya, Ritucharya or Sadvritta Palan or Rasayan Sevan or Achar Rasayan, and these daily routine or daily regimen or Dinacharya, this can be followed with regulated diet, sleep and Brahmacharya. That is, in Ayurveda there are three pillars, or the Sharira is consisting of three pillars, or Sharir stands on, our human body stands on three pillars like Dosha, Dhatu, Mala. Three doshas, Sapta Dhatavas, three malas. And for these pillars to be stand very firm, we should follow three upastambhas or three supporting pillars, or we should take help of three supporting pillars. Which are these? These are Ahara, Nidra and Brahmacharya. So to maintain the three doshas, Saptadhatus and three malas in balanced condition, which will help us to regulate our lifestyle, or which will help us to maintain good lifestyle and protect us from lifestyle disorder diseases. These are the Sadvritta Palanas, and these are which will get supported with these three upastambhas. So let's talk with first Ahara, that is diet. What is diet? Diet is that what we eat or what we drink is the diet. What gives us diet? Diet gives us existence, energy, color, complexion, oja, that is immunity, and it will help us to grow constantly or unhampered growth, or providing energy or to be a well-being. So proper functioning of all our indriyas, ahara should be also good, or ahara should be also taken to be in consideration, because improper diet is the major cause of all the illnesses according to Ayurveda. So according to Ayurveda, how should be our diet? As our body is made up of Pancha Mahabhutas, that is Pancha Mahabhautik constitution of our body, our diet should be also Pancha Bhautik, Pancha Mahabhautik. Aapa, Teja, Vayu, Agni, Akash, these are the Pancha Mahabhutas. The diet should include these types of Pancha Mahabhutas. So our diet should be Pancha Bhautik. Also our diet should include the 6 rasas, that is 6 tastes. Which are these? Sweet, sour, salty, hot, bitter and astringents. All these 6 rasas should be included in our daily diet, daily regimen, daily ahar. Then also our diet can be categorized in 2 types, that is heavy to digest called Guru and easy or light to digest called Laghu. So in consideration of our ahara, we can think of ahar vidhi visheshayatanas or ahar rules and regulations of ahara or diet. What may be that? Firstly, the nature or the basic properties of the food. We know everyone is having different prakriti or different health pattern. So there is the difference of food properties for each and everyone, but it should be regulating our or maintaining our 3 doshas. So according to Prakrutis, diet should be that Prakriti type. Then combination of 2 food materials. We should think about the incompatibility during these food combination. So we should not eat incompatible food, as like in we should not take milk with salt, or we should not take fishes with milk. So this can be the incompatible diet. So incompatibility of the diet or of the ahara should be also taken in the consideration. Then samskara. What is samskara? The processes which we are doing, that is boiling or cooking or roasting, these are the samskaras for the food. We should taken in consideration that samskar should be proper or should be good. For example, we should not heat curd. This is the incompatible samskara. So curd should not be heated. So samskara or the processes which we are carrying to preserve or to cook the food should be proper. Then quantity of food which we will take. This is the most important. It is decided according to our digestive capacity or Agni or digestive fire. If the Agni is weak, one should take food only once or should take food in less quantity. Or if the person is having Tikshnagni, then he should eat time by time or in slot by slot manner. Food taken once should be digested completely and properly. Then and then also we have to take next food, that it can be called as a matravat ashniyat. Considering in Trividha Kukshi Adhyaya, Acharya Charaka has explained very well how the quantity of food should be there for person to person. Considering four parts of the stomach, one should take food such that 2 parts of the stomach get filled by the food, 1 part to be filled with the water or the liquid, and 1 part should kept free for the vayu or to gas to move here and there and to help the digestion. So considering 4 parts, 2 parts should be of food, 1 part should be for liquid or water, and 1 part kept free for the vayu. Then one should take the food which will not disturb the equilibrium of doshas and dhatus, and which should be get digested or metabolized in proper timing. This is the quantitative food. So quantity of food should be taken in the consideration. Then the time, on which time we are going to take our food. When doshas go their own respective places, or when doshas are in their normal condition, when the digestive fire is at its higher range, then it will be taken, or it will be the proper timing for food taking. So our body will digest it easily. So timing of the take food should be taken in the consideration. Then the order in which one can take the food. In Ayurveda, different acharyas has explained what should eat first and what should eat last. Some acharyas explain according to Rasapana. Acharyas explain Madhura Rasa should be at last of your diet, or some acharyas explain Madhura Rasa may be or should be in the first time. So the order in which we take food is also taken in the consideration. This is all about diet, or this is all about ahara, which is the one supporting pillar of our sharira. Then next one is nidra. After ahara, nidra is also essential to maintain our life in good balance. So nidra means sleep. Sleep or the rest which we take is the second pillar of the, or second supporting pillar of the Ayurveda. Tamas gun is responsible for making us sleep, and the tamas gun get dominated at night. So the sleeping at night is the good habit, or is the proper time to sleep. When our body gets tired, we feel pain, and when our mind gets tired, we feel sleepy. So यदा तु मनसि क्लान्ते कर्मात्मानं क्लमान्विता is the proper timing of the sleeping or the nidra. So Ayurveda also says that when body tired but the mind is not, then that's what we, when we dream, or perhaps that is maybe the reason why we don't dream every night, because at every night there is no possibility that our body and mind also get tired. So when our mind is fresh but our body get tired, so we can see the dreams. While the tamas gun makes us sleep, the sattva gun makes us waking up. Then what are the benefits of good sleeping, or proper timing sleeping, or what are the benefits of nidra? It gives us wellness, nourishment, strength, potency, knowledge, and it will enhance our life. So taking proper nidra or taking proper timing sleep is also essential to maintain our lifestyle. So as we are discussing about the lifestyle disorders, I have explained firstly how we should maintain our lifestyle in proper way or in proper manner. So firstly we have seen about ahara, that is diet. Next we have seen about nidra or sleep, how it is beneficial and how it helps us to maintain our lifestyle in a proper condition, or how we should maintain our tridosha saptadhatus in a well maintained condition. If we cannot sleep, or if we don't sleep properly, what will happen? It will cause illness, it will cause emaciation, that is karsha, it will cause weakness, that is abala, it will cause ignorance or ajana, or it will also lead to impotency also. So proper sleep is very much important. What will happen according on the doshas? Lack of sleep leads to an increase in vata dosha in the body. It could also lead to yawning, aches in various body parts, loss of concentration, or digestive problems also. So properly sleeping habits or proper timing sleeping is also essential for the lifestyle, good lifestyle maintenance. Then third upastambha is brahmacharya. It refers to the state of life when any living being refrains from excessive sensuality. This state does not mean a complete sexual abstinence, but to indulge sex such a way so as not to have any adverse effect on health. It is one of the prominent or most important and absolutely essential aspect of human life. It is an integral part of human life, while this aspect of life is regulated by nature. So, Brahmacharya Palan is also important, or it will help us to maintain our ojas in proper condition, and Sapta Dhatu Sara or Sarata maintenance will be get followed by Brahmacharya Palan. So, regarding all these three supporting pillars we have seen. Then next, in the preventive aspect of lifestyle disorder management, we can see the daily regimen or Dinacharya. Acharya Charak has explained very well. What is Dinacharya? Dinacharya is the daily routine, or is a simple and effective way to balance the body. So our daily activities have profound effect on our health. A routine or daily practices are stronger medicine than an occasional remedy. So our Dinacharya or our daily regimen may act as a medicine. So many times I have counseled the young girls or young patients to please clear your or to manage your daily regimen. Then and then you can be get relief from these conditions. You need not to take any medicines. You manage your, maintain your lifestyle, you will get the results. So maintaining Dinacharya or Riticharya will help our lifestyle good maintenance. As previously stated, three doshas Vata, Pitta, Kapha each have their periods of time within 24 hours of day and their energy predominance. So how we can follow our daily regimen? I have shortly narrated here. Firstly, what should we do at a morning? How should we start our morning? We should try to wake up 2 hours before the sunrise. That is Brahme Muhurte Uttishthe. This is the Vata time of the day and is also the time of the most of the Sattva predominance. So the good quality are there in air also, in atmosphere also. This is the excellent period of learning, of any kind of learning. So it is the extremely beneficial timing for the students, as they will be able to quickly grasp whatever they learn. So please please take in consideration all the students to your studies in morning timing or at Brahma Muhurta. You will have to take less efforts to study hard. So this is the importance of Brahma Muhurte Uttishthe. Then after that, drink a glass of warm water if necessary to evacuate your bowels, because the evacuation in the morning will strongly recommended by the Ayurveda, as waiting longer for the evacuation will increase the harm in your body and toxins are get accumulated, that is poisonous substances are get accumulated in your body, which will give rise to diseases or which will make imbalance of the three doshas. So evacuation at the morning is very important. Then cleanse your sensory organs. What should be the sensory organs cleaning? Wash your eyes, brush your teeth, scrape your tongue. Actually what happens, the coating get accumulated on your tongue, which is the armor. It should be cleaned every day. So scraping of tongue should be included in our daily regimen. Then Nasya. Nasya is also recommended to clear our nose or respiratory channels. What is Nasya? We should have enter just pure ghee or medicated oils like Bala Tela, Anu Tela, in daily practices. So Nasya is also the good practicing, because Nasa hi Shirosodwaram. Again, we can say here, if the patient or the students are having complaints such as lack of concentration, they can use Nasya treatment, or they can use Nasya as their lifestyle daily routine. So taking Nasya or being a good student, we should have do Nasya early morning, or do Nasya every day. Then Dhumpan. In traditional Dinacharya, it has been practiced, or we can also practice. And in this pandemic, that is COVID 2019, Ayurveda has, or Ayush department has give its importance of Dhumapana and Nasya. So our acharyas has explained very earlier or before that how should we follow our daily regimen. So Nasya and Dhumpan are the both essential to maintain our respiratory health. Then next will be the Abhyanga, that is oil massage on scalp, forehead, or hands or feet, and also rest of all the organs for their functioning well. Daily massage can help to keep our body strong and also prevent it from premature aging. This is the today's very problem, premature aging. So to prevent premature aging, one should do Abhyanga daily. Then indulge Vyayam or some sort of physical activities like light exercises, yoga practices, breathing exercises. These can be practiced. As early morning is a Vata time, it is good for flexibility exercises. So early morning is the good timing for the exercising, which will help to remove stagnation in our body, and also it will help to recharge and rejuvenate the body and mind also for the productive day ahead. Then bath. When we finish our exercise, we should take bath. We should not take too hot or too cold water for the bath. We should prefer lukewarm water for the bathing. Daily bathing is very essential. Then meditation. Meditate for some time, which will help in your self-awareness, or which will enhance your self-awareness, which will give support to your mind, which will relax your stresses. So do meditate every day. Then have a warm or wholesome breakfast. Then we should do all these daily regimens in the morning timing up to the breakfast. Then in afternoon, what should we do in the afternoon? We can take our lunch in the afternoon, as there is a strongest sun timing in the afternoon. Our digestive fire is also on strong way. So we can take lunch in the afternoon. It will help to digest the food properly. Then it is also considered that the walk a bit after lunch, it will help to digesting the food better. And a nap or the afternoon siesta is strictly prohibited in the Ayurveda, or strictly says no to the every person. Ayurveda strictly prohibits sleeping in the afternoon, exception in the Grishma Ritu Charya. Then what should be done in the evening or when sun gets down? It is the another sattvic timing for the day. So we should finish our work, everyone should finish their work and go for the meditation also, which will help us to reduce stress which we have taken throughout day. Then just try to stay calm and silent and study the sounds and calm walk. Then this is the important, or this is the proper timing to get relaxed. Then at night dinner, Ayurveda recommends dinner very light, or the timing which we have to take dinner should be before 7 p.m., which will allow our body to digest properly. So take your dinner before 7 p.m., which will helps to prevent build-up of arm and toxins in the body. So food should be taken before 2 to 3 hours when we go to sleep. So take a dinner at 7 to 7:30 p.m. Then at night sleep. Ayurveda strongly recommends that we should sleep by the 10 o'clock. As it is the dominance of Kapha Kala, we should take the sleep, or we should go to sleep at 10 p.m. Then we should take the adequate sleep, which will do our body relax and give us the freshness for the next morning. This is all about Dinacharya. Is it simple? It's very simple. Try and align yourself to this Ayurvedic Dinacharya and you will automatically see a result. So, if we remodel our lifestyle or resemble the Ayurvedic Dinacharya, or at least try and come too close to it, then our body will automatically develop a strong resistance power against the diseases and we can lead to the healthy and happy life. This is all regarding Dinacharya. Then next we will come to the Ritucharya. What is Ritucharya? Ritucharya in the Ayurveda practices comprises of two words, Ritu and Charya. There are 6 Ritus explained in the Ayurveda context, or our year has divided in 2 kalas, that is Adan Kal and Visarga Kal. Both are comprising three Ritus. That is, first one may be considered as Shishir Ritu, or in winter season. During this season, the environment is cold and windy. So the strength of the person in this season remain less and deposition of the Kapha dosha happens and Agni remains at a higher state. So we can take ginger, garlic, haritaki, pipali, these type of drugs or these type of herbs we can take, and also we can take milk and milk atoms to incorporate into our eating regimen. Food having Katu, Tikta, Kashaya, Rasa dominance should be stayed away, and Laghu and Shita food should be avoided. So as the Agni is on highest fire, we have to take Guru Ahara and Ushna Ahara. How we can make vihara or lifestyle? What we can do in Shishir Ritu? We should massage with oil, powder or paste, and then we should take shower with warm water, or we should expose our body to the sunlight, or we should wear the warm clothes during this period. Then Vasant Ritucharya. What should we do in Vasant Ritucharya? In Vasant Ritu, it is the season in mid-March to mid-May. This season considered at the flower of originating new leaves. So the vitiation of Kapha dosha is there and digestive power remains in a manda state or lowest state. So one should take foods which is easily digestible, or wheat, rice, old barley. This can be suggested in this season. Also, pulses like mudak we can take. Katu kashaya should be eaten. Then honey can be also added in the diet. And in vihara or in lifestyle, using tap water for the bathing. Exercising during Vasant Rutu is must. Then massage with our body with the powder like chandana, keshar, agru. This is also recommended. Sleeping during this day is not advised, as sleeping during the day timing will increase the kapha dosha. The sleeping during day is strictly avoided in the Vasanta Rutu. So in Panchakarma we can offer patients as a Vamana, Panchakarma therapy as a Vamana. So Vasantik Vamana will be advised to the patients. Then coming to the next, Grishma Rutucharya or Grishma Rutu. This may be the mid-May to mid-July, and Vat dosha get deposited in the body and Kapha dosha get relaxed or get digested in this season. So what should we eat? We should eat Madhura Rasa. We should eat Snigdha Gunatmak Ahara. We should take fluid or Dravagun more in our diet. Also drinking water or drinking juices or drinking buttermilk, soups, this can be advised in this Ritu. What we should do lifestyle or what we do vihara is sandal, applying of sandalwood or wearing of cool clothes or light-weighted clothes is advised. Then in Varsha Rutu, that is monsoon season, it is the mid-July to mid-September. During this season, the sky is cloudy and there is a Amla Gunatmak all the drugs. So Vata dosha increases in this season. Then we should avoid the heavy food. We should take in consideration soup, yusha or mudag like diet, light diet in this season. Also boiled water should be taken for the bathing. Also massaging should be properly. We can advise basti, Panchakarma treatment basti in this season. Then Sharad Rutu, it is the autumn. It is the mid-September to mid-November. In this season, the pitta get exaggerated. So, and Vat dosh get low down. So, in this season, we should have the Madhura, Tikta and Laghu Rasatmak Ahara, Laghu Gunatmak Ahara, and we should have the Chandan applying, paste of Chandan applying over the body, or we can advise Virechan, Raktamokshan during this season as a Panchakarma treatment. In Hemanta Rutu, that is mid-November to mid-January, it is the Madhur Rasa dominance Ritu. In this, we should take sweet, tasty, salty foods. Among pulses, we can use Masha. Then Sidhu can be advised, or Vata aggravation foods such as Laghu, dry fruits are to be stay away. Then in lifestyle, exercising should be advised, and the agru or which are hot things we should apply over our body. So these are regarding the Rutucharya. Then come to the next, Rasayan Chikitsa. What is Rasayan Chikitsa? By the proper use of Rasayan, person can get happy and healthy long life. So for having healthy and happy long life, one should use Rasayana are helpful for maintaining general and promoting the longevity, also increasing in memory, then providing preventive measures for the maintenance of our health and strength or strengthening our resistance power. So Rasayan Chikitsa also boost our OJAS, that is immune system, or the OJAS is the vital part of our life. So labhopayo hi shastanam rasadinam rasayanam. So for preventive aspect, all these things we should have to do, or we should have to taken in the considerations. Then again, also if we anyone suffer from the lifestyle disorders, then we should advise them as per their dosha dominance, shodhan, and then after shaman chikitsa, and then herbal treatment or the medicinal treatments. So regarding all this, I have taken preventive aspect more predominantly. And so what should we take, what message we should take with us is the best way to keep ourselves away from the disturbed lifestyle, or maintain our lifestyle according to Ayurveda principles, which I have explained before. So stay healthy and stay happy. Thank you. Once again, thank you all the organizers, Dr. Gaurang Joshi sir, Dr. Bhairav Kulkarni sir, Dr. Ramdev Pandit, Endo Nepal Corporation Campaigning, for giving me this opportunity to share my views on the lifestyle disorders and their preventive aspect according to Ayurveda. Thank you everyone. Thank you.